there's a variety of different things to talk about. Let's just the broader point that I'm making is that at minimum, the people who say if you're against puberty blockers for children or hormone replacement, you're a Nazi or you're a fucking bigot. Like if you have any resistance against that, you're a terrible person. You're against civil rights. We agree that that's too far, right? That would be.
I'm not saying. Hold on. I'm not saying that would. Yes, I agree that those people are retarded. Okay. All I'm saying is that it seems like trans stuff is real, at least in adulthood. And so if parents want to make the decision to pursue something with a doctor or whatever, then I mean, I think that they probably should have that option available to them. They should have that right. To compare that to gay conversion therapy is crazy, and it's even crazier.
There's as much evidence for gay conversion therapy as there is for successful gay conversion therapy in children.
Okay, that's just not true.
Successful intervention.
That's not true. Even if I were to take your stat, which I don't even think is right, even if I were to take your stat that 80% desist, you're telling me that there was evidence that 20% of people were successfully converted from homosexuality? Like even taking your own stat, it would debunk what you're saying. Just logically it would follow.
Look, I'm happy that we can let's schedule a conversation sometime, and we will simply evaluate the claim. The evidence for gay conversion therapy is as much. Whatever we just.
Do you think that for the conservatives that are sure,
absolutely that is the case.
Okay. Do you think
that why all these countries are backtracking on it?
Okay. I don't know if that's true, but they're backtracking from some of the recommendations they made, which is fine, by the way. It's okay if science figures stuff out and people change their recommendations over time. I'm okay with science updating. Well, that's all okay. I guess. Do you think the same people that are advocating this are the same people that are saying they're not vaccinating their children at all anymore? Do you think there's consistency in those two positions?
In what two positions?
That people can say, so Nick Merckx, I guess, tweeted out the other day.
They're not vaccinating their kids?
Yeah, he's not getting any vaccinations for their children.
That's as stupid as giving your kids puberty blockers because they say they're a girl after...
Okay. Probably dumber than that, though, right? Because we have way more evidence that vaccines are effective, especially at least some of them, versus...
Let me ask you a question. You would agree, just broadly here, like let's say we're just talking about messaging here. You agree that you agree with the statement, generally speaking, vaccines are safe and effective?
Yes.
Would you agree with the statement that, generally speaking, puberty blockers are safe and effective?
No. Insofar as why am I? It's hold on, wait. Wait.
Go ahead.
It's a question of magnitude, right? The evidence for vaccines is overwhelming. The evidence for when is like the best time to prescribe puberty blockers or engage with a child, and with the assumption that they are biologically trans and need medical interventions, that we're still like out to lunch on this one. And we know that there are trans adults, and
You're out to lunch on this one.
Okay. So hold on, let me just bullet point these in. So you agree that trans adults exist, right?
Yeah, of course.
But you think that it is impossible. There is no possible way we will ever at any point in time discover if they would have been trans 4 years earlier. That's impossible. Not even worth studying. We'll never be able to know that.
For an individual, no, of course not.
Okay. I don't know how you could ever come to that conclusion, but
okay, I'll give you an example of you agree that after 18 an adult should be able to have sex with anyone they want, right? No. Not anyone they want. And any other adult.
Yeah, almost got me there. Almost got me.
Yes. You agree that after 18 an adult should be able to have sex with any other consenting adult,
like
correct?
Legally or morally? I mean, I think broadly speaking, I'm going to say yes, but I mean, it depends on what you're going to ask me here. You could trap me in a few ways, but
I'm going to ask, would you deny that there are people who, when they were 13, 14, or 15, had sex with adults, and then they claim the people that had sex with adults when they were 13, 14, or 15 themselves claimed they were fine and it didn't harm them? Because I know for a fact those people exist. I've talked to them.
Yeah, of course.
So just because there are exceptions, like, well, this thing could happen, and it is possible that an individual could, engage in sex with an adult when they're 13, and it could theoretically happen that they're not permanently scarred for life, doesn't mean the law should be anything other than it's completely fucking wrong to do it.
Sure, but there are three huge issues with this.
Let's start with one.
So the first huge issue is that it might be impossible at the time to ever ascertain if a person has has a full understanding of the long-term effects, or that it can't be mapped out of the long-term effects of doing premarital sex act with somebody else who's incentivized to take advantage of them, right? So that's number one.
Okay.
So the analogy or the analog, I guess, to trans stuff is that maybe a kid doesn't understand, I guess, what like hormones can do to them for the rest of their life.
Infertile for the rest of their life.
Yeah,
is?
but then the question is what is there to be gained outcome-wise from the 13-year-old doing hormones versus the 13-year-old that wants to have sex with an adult? If a 13-year-old wants to have sex with an adult really, 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 really badly, but we say, sorry, you can't do that, it's immoral, it's illegal, or whatever.
Yeah, wait till you're 18.
Yeah, nothing bad happens.
Same thing for kids.
But wait, nothing bad happens. Do we agree with that, right? Nothing bad happens, right?
Well,
to the child who doesn't get to f the adult, right? Nothing bad happens, right? But for the trans person, there are bad things that happen. That's the issue. There's a ticking time clock on when you can start these things, right? That's the issue. So that's a huge difference, right?
Okay, that's not. I would say that's a irrelevant. I would say to the point I'm making, it's fundamentally irrelevant because we agree because the law should still be such that you make the law for the general population, not because there are exceptions to the law.
Well, hold on. But then the second huge issue that you have is it's a bit of a gotcha, but there literally are exceptions to your law, right? Like close in age sex laws allow like a 16-year-old to a 19-year-old or a 17-year-old. 20. So there literally are close in age exceptions. Yeah. So there are exceptions in the law built around like these age differences here. So, I mean, the third one is that like
that's why I said I'm okay with clinical trials for children. Legally I'm okay with it. Morally,
okay, sure. So then let's say that all the trans stuff wasn't like a first line, but like a parent had the opportunity to opt into, do you want to try an experimental treatment if your child you feel like they're trans or whatever? Like, is that something you'd be opposed to? Should a parent, a child, and a doctor have a right to do that? Or
I think that can be done with reasonable regulation. Yes, strict regulation, strict outcomes, strict methodologies. Fine, potentially. I think it's completely off the rails now, but yeah, in theory that would be. I could be happy in a world.
Okay.
The whole reason I brought this up, and I'll just go with the extreme example. Okay, it's like because this is how the human mind works. It's like the 13-year-old's getting their breast cut off. That there's no exception whatsoever in a million years that I'm ever going to tolerate that for the purposes of curing gender dysphoria.
SRS is way that's like third trimester day, whatever abortions. But
okay, fair enough. But we agree that is an extreme example, but it does happen.
I'm sure it does. Yeah, and it's probably not okay. It's probably like my guess is single digits or something. It's probably very, very, very rare that this happens. Thousands of girls are getting their breasts chopped off before they're 18.
The total amount of double mastectomies done on people prior to age 18, it's certainly in the thousands now.
Like in the past 100 years or?
In the past, I think 5 to 10 years. Somebody fact checked me on it.
Double mastectomy in United States rates. Regardless of what I find, though, if it is, I'm looking. But if it is in the hundreds, I would say you probably shouldn't do this. Would be my guess, right? You probably shouldn't do this, right? I would agree with you.
Okay, why wouldn't you? You probably shouldn't do this. Okay, that's a separate thing.
The reason I'm saying you probably shouldn't do this is because I might say, like, let's say I do this. I could say, you absolutely should never do this. This is a horrible thing. And then somebody emails me and they're like, oh, well, actually, if you look at outcomes for girls that are 17 that do this, it's like 98% positive. And I'm like, oh, okay, well,